Now we know who to hit up in the merch tent. Okay, just a few housekeeping rules before we get started. If everybody could put themselves on mute at this time, because I'm just going through some information. We'll make this, short and sweet and leave room for questions. Just so you know, originally I was going to try to do breakout rooms. That way you could meet with your volunteer leads, but that's not going to be possible with the way we have it set up ahead of time. So we'll just do the best we can with questions and answers. And then any specific questions for your team lead, we're going to have the team leads reach out to everybody based on their where they have signed up through email. And yeah, so we'll work that out. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Danica Delatetsky. I am the event manager for the Dempsey Challenge. It's Dempsey Challenge Week. Yay. Really, really, really excited to be here and to be with you. And I'm so excited to be in person, although there will be some changes this year, which we'll go over. It's going to be fantastic. We're really, really excited about coming together and doing it, in a safe manner and being outside together and finally having that magic that we all know and love. And I know a lot of you are returning volunteers, so thank you so much for being here. Also from the Dempsey Center staff, Karen, I'll toss it to you to do a little intro. And she put herself up
together. I know. I'm like, I gotta turn my camera on. Hi, everybody. My name is Karen Page. I am the development associate here at the Dempsey Center. And for all of you, what that really means is I am talking to participants and teams and captains all summer long about all things Dempsey Challenge. Questions, problem solving. Somebody used the word concierge the other day, and that was pretty appropriate for what I've been doing this. I will be in the park all weekend in the customer service tent and the incentive tent. So I'm excited to see some faces in person.
Awesome. I know Mel was having some issues logging on. Mel, are you there? Oh, I see you. I see you. There she is.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
I didn't sign up for the extra Wi-Fi at the Hilton and at the Hampton. And so now I'm trying by my phone. So I can't see everybody, but I can see you, Danica, and Flat Pat.
Yes, there we go. Mel, you want to introduce yourself to everybody? Because they'll probably see you running around this weekend with a radio attached to you.
A little bit, yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Mel Blakey. I might have met a lot of you in years past. I'm super excited to be back in Lewiston on the Dempsey Challenge and working with Danica and the team. I represent Medalist Sports. We are the partner with the challenge that helps with all the operations. So the tents, the routes, the vehicles, all of that comes from our team. And it's my job to make sure we're doing what we need to do to make the Dempsey Challenge as special as it can be. So if you, for some reason, have a question about something and you can't find Danica or your lead or Karen, if you see me, grab me because I might be able to help you out.
Awesome. Thanks, Mel. Also, I wanted to introduce our volunteer coordinator. You will see her at volunteer check-in, so it'll be good to see a friendly face. Donna, I did see you. There you are, Donna.
I'm here. Hi, everyone. We're excited for the Dempsey Challenge. We're going to have a different year, but it's going to be a fun year. So I'm excited to see you all.
Awesome. So you'll see Donna when you come to check in if you are working anywhere within the park. If you're doing rest stops, you'll just go straight to your rest stops and work directly with your rest stop captain. Otherwise, you will be seeing Donna's smiling face this weekend. So just real quick before I kind of get into changes and what to expect, I just want to go over a real quick general housekeeping for the weekend. So whatever your shift that you've signed up for, we would love for you to arrive for your shift a half an hour before. So get your parking out of the way. You're going to need to leave some time to walk into the park, which we'll go over. I'll show you a map. Get to volunteer check-in, get your t-shirt, get your assignment, all of that. So if you can focus in on a half an hour arrival time, that should be plenty of time for you to get comfortably there and in position for your shift. For parking, I am going to do a screen share here real quick. Share screen. Okay. If I can find the map I'm looking for. Okay, here it is. Well, that's not exactly the one, but no, that's not the one. This is the one. So everybody should have received the volunteer guide, which is what I've got right here. Can you see my screen okay? Does everybody see that? Okay. So in this volunteer guide, it will have everything that you need to know. And anything beyond that we can answer tonight or help answer tonight. So for parking, there's a couple of places that you can park. On the guide, it shows you exactly where, but there's a parking lot on Lincoln Street next to Fishbones that you can park in. But we suggest you park in the Chestnut Street parking garage. It's the closest area to the park entrance and where you'll come in. So that's on the corner of Lincoln and Chestnut. Most of you who have done it before are probably pretty familiar. So you can park in any one of those. It is free parking. So go ahead and head there before you head into the park. So now I'll show the other map, which is right here. Okay. So once you come in, you'll start to see signs to come into the park on the outside of Lincoln Street. So when you come in, you'll go right into the park across the pedestrian bridge. This is Oxford Street, where our start chute always is. You'll see a nice truss and where everybody's going to be running or riding and passing through. So new this year. So if you're a volunteer and you start hearing people go, where's the customer service tent? Where's the customer service tent? Because that is a new feature this year. It's actually going to be right in front of the start line, right on Oxford Street. So if anybody asks where customer service is, or if you're working that tent, it's going to be located right here where all these black boxes are, right next to the start chute. Otherwise, you head right in, and right when you walk into the park, you'll see the Dempsey Center branded info tent, and right behind that is volunteer check-in, where Donna will be set up and her volunteers. So our merch tent is right to the right when you walk in, like it has been in years past. You'll go past the merch tent, right in between the Aroma Joe's truck, which is right here. So if you need to grab a coffee, there's an iced coffee. They'll sell iced coffee and all of that, but it'll be in volunteer check-in. I'm going to go ahead and zoom this in just a little bit here. Okay. Then let me grab my little hand. There we go. Okay. So another area, once you check in, you'll get your t-shirt and you'll get assigned to your area. So I'm just going to quickly do a high level overview of the park and where all the different areas are in. So if you've volunteered for bag and bike, it's actually moved. It's right where these black boxes are. Bag and bike will be there right next to the elevated platform, which is where you'll see Lee Nelson and Cindy Williams up there doing announcements. So bag and bike will be right here, right in front of the finish line. If you volunteered in the merch tent, like I said, is right when you walk in to your right. And then the incentive tent is new this year. So if you're a volunteer in our incentive tent, this is where folks, when they finish their event, they'll come into the park and they'll be able to collect any fundraising incentives at that time. And you'll see behind me, I have lots and lots of LL Bean boxes right there. So part of our incentives this year are LL Bean Wicked Comfy Slippers, which are awesome. We have all sorts of different fun incentives that'll be in that incentive tent, but that'll be right next to merch. And then the other place that you're going to want to know about is volunteer food. We don't have like full meals this year, but we do have grab and go snacks. We'll also have coffee and water available. If you just kind of need a minute to decompress, get a little something in your stomach, you can go back there. It's behind the incentive tent. It's the same tent, but it'll have like a dividing wall, and you can kind of sneak in through the side back entrance over here. So you'll come in right here. We'll have a sign out there, so it'll be very clear about what that is. We have some food trucks over here in this area. If you are working the beer tent or the ID check-in tent area, we've kind of split the park up this year to spread people out. I think that's probably one of the biggest changes when you walk into the park. The middle is pretty much completely empty, and that is by design. What we've done is we've removed a lot of the elements that have been there in the past. So there is no kids zone this year. There's no kids fun run. There's no health and wellness expo. There are no additional vendors. We really just tried to remove all of those extra elements so we could really focus in on the flow of the event itself, and then also the celebration after, to allow people to really spread out everywhere in the park. So you'll see tables and chairs in the center. And then other than that, it's really just tents going around the perimeter of the park. So up front here, you'll see a photo wall, a giant, this is a new feature of the park this year. We have a 20-foot branded Dempsey Challenge photo wall. You'll see it right when you walk in, right next to the finish line. It's going to be really cool. Teams are able to sign up for a slot to get a photo in front of the team wall. So you'll see that. So ID checks are just off of that, kind of in the middle of the park. And then moving down, we'll go counterclockwise. This 20 by 60 foot tent is our beer tent, our main craft beer and wine garden. So if you're pouring beer, that is where you'll report to your team leads, Allie and Eric. We'll go over all the team leads as well. So you'll see that. And then coming around this tent back here towards the back of the park, this is one food tent. We have 2 food tents this year. That's new. We've divided the serving into 2 different areas. So again, just spreading people out. So this is one food tent that we have. The front part is where we'll have our serving volunteers. If you volunteered in the food tent, that's the tent that you'll be in. And then the back of it is just prep work. So we'll have other volunteers back there prepping food and preparing it to put out to serve. Next to the food tent, we have one giant seating area undercover in a tent. Mostly for weather, if people want to be out. We'll also have a screen inside there. So it will broadcast whatever is being shown on the entertainment stage on the big screen will also be shown on the seating area in this tent, including the Patriots game that will be broadcasted on Sunday. So there's one seating area. Then moving around, this is the stage. It's where it usually is every single year if you're familiar with the event. It's a large stage with a giant LED screen. We also have a nice Dempsey Challenge banner up there, so it looks really, really cool. And then coming back around, we have a second serving area. So if you are in the food tent, you'll be sent to one of these 2 areas to volunteer, and the team lead will kind of split you guys up. So you don't need to know right now which tent you'll be at. The team lead will send you based on needs at that time. And the way that it's going to be set up is it's very much a flow. Really, flow is the word of the day throughout the entire Dempsey Challenge weekend, is how we're flowing people through the park. But essentially, there will be an entrance. You come through, it'll be grab and go style food. Everybody will get like a paper bag with a handle, and then food will be handed, and you just kind of collect your food, and then you flow out of the tent, and you either head to an outdoor seating area, or you can head into a indoor, I shouldn't say indoor, it's a covered seating area, which is the second area. So if you signed up for Green Team, you will be working a lot in this, the 2 seating area tents, working a lot to sanitize tables, turning those over, making sure that, there's any trash or recycling that needs to happen throughout the park. But these will definitely be 2 areas where that Green Team will focus down on. Already told you about the photo wall. And then we have a Poland Spring water trailer. If you bring a water bottle with you, you'll be able to utilize that. It's contactless water fill. You just go up, fill your water up at the trailer, and that's available throughout the entire weekend. This CMHC tent, the Central Maine Healthcare tent, this is a new feature in the park this year. We're super excited about it. And when you get some downtime or before your shift, if you have time before your shift and you want to kind of do some exploring, this is a new feature we're calling our Mission Walk this year. those of you who used to remember, we used to have like a giant tent in the center of the park that we called our mission tent. And we've kind of deconstructed that this year and created a mission walk. This Central Maine Healthcare tent is the entrance to the mission walk. You go through the tent and down the hill all the way around the park, all throughout here. You'll see all sorts of stories about the Dempsey Center. You'll see client stories. There'll be a lot of storyboards out there. There's also some interactive elements that we have where people can fill out like a survivor bib, or, if you're a care partner, you can fill out a care partner. You can write a message of hope or in honor of somebody. And we'll have like elements that you can hang up and display. We also have down here, we're going to have a virtual photo booth and an area to take photos. So it's going to be really cool. It's kind of like an art exhibit, if you will. It's kind of like an art installation, and that's all along this. So if you signed up as a Festival in the Park volunteer, those are some of the areas where we'll be having people stationed along the way to help us. If somebody's signing up at something with a pen and doing one of the interactive areas, you'll be handing pens, taking them back, wiping them down. We'll have sanitizer wipes everywhere. That's one of the jobs that you'll be assigned to. And that's really it for the park. We still will have our signs of hope and healing out along the course. The finish line is where it was in 2019. It flows in from the bridge right into the park. So you can't miss it. Another Festival in the Park job will be like a cheer station. We'll have some cowbells at the volunteer check-in. They'll give you some cowbells. You can line up. This year, I believe we're going to be both sides of the finish chute, cheering people on as they come in. So that is our venue this year. I do want to talk a little bit about sort of the change to the overall event that we're helping message. So if you do get questions, you can kind of help with this information. But essentially, there is no quote unquote gun start this year. We're not packing a start chute full of people this year the way we normally would. What we've done is we have open start times based on your event. So if you are I think we start with our 10K run. Actually, this year it's only a 10K run. There isn't a 10K walk option because our 5K, 10K course is actually closed and looped this year because we wanted to have a larger start window for people. We would have had to have closed down the streets for much too long. So instead we have a closed loop course. It's 3 loops for a 10K. And it's a little bit deviation from the 5K course. The 5K course is a 2-loop course. And the way it works is people come in, they arrive, and they can take the start line and go to the start chute anytime between their window. So if they're a 10Ker, it's a start time between 8 and 9 a.m. So essentially people will come, they already got their bibs mailed to them. If they don't have any issues with their bib, they'll either head into the park, fill up their water bottle, meet with their team, and then head right to the start line and then take the course right away. So that's what will happen all throughout the weekend. 5Kers will start 9:30 to 10:30. They have a 1-hour window, 9:30 to 10:30. And then after 10:30, everybody should be out on the course. And now it just switches to the celebration in the park at the end. For Sunday, it's the same thing. We're calling it a clip and ride style. So what will happen is people will come in between 7:30 and 9, no matter what route they're doing, whether it's the 25, the 50, the 65, or the 100 mile, they'll come in, same thing, fill the water bottle, meet the teammates, be ready to go, pin their bib on, clip, and head right out. And then of course, everything kind of really starts to talk about that flowing people through, and now they're in the park. So that's one of the big changes I did want to let everyone know. Let me go back to my agenda. So much to talk about. All right. Volunteer checkout. Yeah. So once you check in with Dawn at that volunteer tent and you get your t-shirt and your assignment, you'll head to your area and you're going to meet with your volunteer lead. Your volunteer leads, I'll list them here real quick, but Donna will also give you that information and say, oh, you'll check in with Allie or Eric or whoever it might be. So quickly, the food and beverage tent area, if you signed up for food and beverage, On Saturday, your lead is Amy. Her name is Amy Fawcett. I don't know if she's here. Amy, are you here? I don't think I saw her. And then on Sunday, the lead is Rachel Dixon. Okay. And again, Donna will say that. If you're in the main craft beer and wine garden, either pouring beer or doing ID checks, your leads are Allie and Eric Daniels. Our merchandise tent is, the leads are Gary and Gail. Our green team, we have 2 leads. We have Jennifer Lindquist on Saturday. I believe Jennifer will also be available on Sunday, but we also have a team lead, Crystal, on Sunday. Festival in the Park, Donna is going to be your girl right at volunteer check-in. She will kind of assess where the needs are at any given time, and she'll assign your job at that time. Cycling ambassadors, your lead is Rod. I saw Rod on the call. Rod's there. There he is. There's Rod, cycling ambassadors. And then we also have our rest stop captain. So if you are a rest stop volunteer, you will deal directly with your rest stop captain. Did I miss any other areas? Oh, incentive tent. We have our incentive tent lead. Yep, I saw Lisa. There's Lisa. And also customer service tent. So both customer service and incentive tent is Lisa, Mindy, and Karen. Karen, you met earlier. Lisa is right. Yep, there's Karen. Lisa Daniels, there she is. Is Mindy on the call? I don't know if Mindy's on the call. Okay, so you'll see them too. Did I miss any other areas? I think that's it. Yeah, so what'll happen is you'll just go see your volunteer lead and they will put you to work. And that's it. You know, you do your shift. So definitely want to dress in layers. Make sure you dress for comfort. This isn't the time to pull out your, your Sunday best. You can just, wear jeans, leggings, comfortable pants, comfortable shorts, definitely closed-toe shoes. I would definitely dress in layers. I don't know what the weather is going to look like this weekend. It's going to be fine because we've already wished all of the rain away. But, you may want to bring an umbrella or, a poncho or something like that. We do have a lot of tents for coverage for pretty much all of the areas. You should have some coverage, but certainly take that into account as you're packing up for the day. So let's get into the changes this year with our not so friend, I should say, COVID. So obviously we've got some protocols in place to keep our immunocompromised population as safe as possible. So we are asking all volunteers, staff, participants, everybody to be masked this year throughout the park as you're moving around the park. Participants they have the choice if they would like to remove their mask during the actual event when they're running or cycling or walking. But as you come into the park where really the celebrating starts, we want everybody to be masked up as you're moving around the park. And just like we've kind of all experienced through this whole thing, we've been kind of well practiced at it now. The rule of thumb is if you're standing up and you're moving around, you're wearing a mask. If you're, sitting down, you're with your friends and family, and you're now ready to eat and have a beverage, you can remove your mask. So, if you finish eating and you're about to head to the bathroom or go get another drink, put the mask back on, and that's just how we're going to roll with it. We are not asking any volunteer to enforce the masking policy. You don't need to worry about that. That is not a burden that you need to take on at all. We will have so much signage throughout the park. We've been communicating that we are a masked event for, my God, 9 weeks now. Everybody knows we're a masked event. And we have other people who will help us with that if we need to. If there does become a situation where you're uncomfortable, or if you see something that you're, you just, I don't know, for whatever reason you need to bring it to our attention, let your team lead know and we will help you. We can either move you in a section, like if you're closer maybe to an area where people are unmasked drinking beer and you want to be moved, no problem. We can do that. Not a problem at all. And then additionally, I mean, it's kind of goes without saying because we always have gloved, but if you are in the food and beverage area or the beer area, we are having volunteers glove and mask. And the way we're going to do it is, first of all of the food is grab and go style. So everything's kind of pre-wrapped to make it easy to move people fast through the line. And the way we're going to handle that is the volunteer is actually going to hand the item to the participant rather than the participant reaching in and grabbing it themselves. That way it's just, we have gloved volunteers that are going to be handling that piece. And that also goes at the rest stops and water stops. You'll be handing the water to the person as opposed to them grabbing it, because you'll be gloved. So that's just one kind of small change to expect there. And what else? Yeah, so any of those gloved volunteers, so food tent, rest stops, beer tent. What do I have about the start line? Yep, no, that's good. Yeah, and any high point touch areas, there'll be hand sanitizer everywhere, and then sanitizing wipes to wipe down your area. I have a question that came in that says, if I have asthma, do I have to wear a mask? Yes, we are a masked event. If you can't wear, we are allowing face shields. Anything that's pretty much allowed in the outdoor, in the public right now with the face shields and stuff, you can wear that, but we are asking everybody to mask up for this event. Good question. Thank you for asking.
There's
Any
another
questions?
question. There's
Oh,
another
yep.
question in the general box about food, Patriots game in both food tents.
Yes, that's a great question.
And
Yes.
did we forget venue setup volunteers? Bruce?
Oh, yes, I sure did. So venue setup volunteers, that's helping the medalist crew. So when you come, you'll just come right into the park. Mel, is there any place specific that you want venue volunteers to meet within the park?
Taking myself off mute. Yes, actually, I think if your date is starting tomorrow or Thursday or Friday, just come straight into the park and look for someone who, a lot of us are wearing Medalist Sports t-shirts. If you see one of those, say, hey, I'm here to help. And they're going to say, yes, thank you. Thank you for being here. Here, let's put you to work. So really appreciate it if you're coming to do venue support. We certainly will need some help with some moving of things around the venue. So just find someone in a shirt and we'll put you to work.
Awesome. And I saw another question come in about SAG drivers. Great question. So Chris Reed is actually on a plane right now en route to Lewiston. And he is your SAG driver contact. He will be emailing and contacting all SAG drivers and giving you specific details about where to meet and all of that. Do you happen to know, Mel, where they are meeting, or should we leave that to Chris to do the communicating?
I would definitely go with Chris Reed's. I know what we've done in the past and what we talked about. And Rod sounds like he might know. Did something come in?
Oh, Rod's telling us he's going to have a group on Friday to help with setup, which is fantastic from 10
Thank
to 12.
you,
We can
Rod.
always count on Rod and his group. It's fantastic.
They're going to have some tables to move, I'm sure. So for SAG drivers, usually they meet in the load lot area, which is the LA Museum parking lot. That way, Chris Reed can show everybody what the vehicle looks like and review how the protocols are to operate a SAG vehicle and take care of our participants out on course. So usually that's in the load lot. I don't think that's changed, but I would definitely look at the email he sent. And if you have any questions, definitely follow up with him. And if you can't get in touch with him, Danica can get you my email.
Yeah, so any questions, and this goes for anybody, our team can route the question to any team lead in any area. So if you have any question that happens to come up, just email info@dempseychallenge.org and we'll get it to the appropriate person for communication. Now, as far as SAG drivers is concerned, I know Chris sent out a communication already, but he may not have had the most updated list. So he will update that information and make sure that it's sent out to you. So no worries there.
I do know we are looking for more SAG drivers.
Yeah.
So if you have any friends who would like to support the riders out on course, we are still looking for, I think, 4 more additional drivers.
Do you want to just talk a little bit about what that is, Mel? For those of you.
Actually, that experience is something I love being on the venue, but whenever I have the opportunity to be out on course, it's actually really exciting because that's where the action is happening. And so what a SAG driver's responsibility is to listen to command, which is open at 6 a.m. on Sunday. And Chris Reed operates Command Center. And the SAG drivers are basically his eyes and ears of the routes. So he'll call over the radio saying, hey, SAG number 1, can you tell me how many, can you pull over to this spot on the road and tell me how many cyclists pass you in the next minute? And it's just a way for him to just know what's going on. He might also ask you to assist in following a certain rider if we know it's the last rider on course. That's actually a really cool spot. And so that way you can kind of follow them, make sure they're moving through the course safely, checking in to see if they need anything. All SAG drivers will have a ham radio operator with them in the vehicle. So that way there's a direct line of communication to Chris Reed in command. And then the other thing is if something goes wrong on the course, sometimes we do have some incidents that happen on the course, and the SAG vehicles are usually the kind of our volunteer first responders in that. And so it is a very important job and some responsibility. Sometimes though, most of the day, it's really just like really cheering those riders on and encouraging them and making them feel like they're out there and they can do it.
There's another
Awesome.
layer of support as well. That's where the cycling ambassadors come in. We have 4 cycling ambassadors on every route. So if we encounter a hazard in the road, whatever that hazard may be, or a crash or anything, we'll be calling Chris Reed, the incident commander, and he'll deploy cycling ambassadors and SAG wagons that are in the vicinity. This year, we're hoping everyone gets on RaceJoy, especially the cycling ambassadors, so Chris can see on his screen where we all are. And if there's a crash, he can see right where the cycling ambassadors are that are closest and the SAG wagons and deploy us to that spot. So there's also that layer of support as well.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Rod.
Rod.
Thanks, Rod. I just wanted to go back to info@Dempsey Challenge. That is a fantastic way to get in touch with any of us. I actually staff that inbox. However, I will say that once we get to the weekend, that will not be monitored and kept track of. So please don't email through info@weekend of, but tomorrow, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
feel free.
Good point, Karen. Way to
Just don't
go.
want to leave people hanging weekend up. I'll do an autoresponder for then so people will know, but
Great. Yeah, I mean, at that point, I guess show up to the park and ask your questions in person.
that is what the autoresponder would say.
There you go. Speaking of RaceJoy, that's actually a really good point. I'm glad Rod brought that up because that is a new feature this year. And if you're working in the customer service area, or honestly, you might get questions, period. But if you get questions and you really just don't know the answer, I would prefer, instead of guess, because we've had, you're just trying to be helpful, just send them to the info tent. Send them to the info tent, which is right when you walk into the park. So if you get a question and you just really don't know the answer, just say, oh, go to the info tent. It's right when you walk in the park. They'll have the answer there. And they will. So additionally, RaceJoy, you might hear a lot about RaceJoy and you'll see some signs. We're asking all participants this year to download a free app called RaceJoy. And if you're a participant yourself, or you have a loved one or a friend doing the course, you can actually download it as well for free. And you can actually track a participant and see where they're at. As long as they're using the app and you're tracking, you can see their progress all the way through. Because that's a big question we get year after year after year is how do I find out where my person is on the route? And now you can know exactly where they are on the route. So it's a lot easier than trying to deal with maps. You can follow them along. So that's just one piece that's new this year. And now you're in the know and you can help us out, and you can just tell them, oh, download RaceJoy, and you'll see signs everywhere as well. What other questions? I'm looking at the time, we're doing good. What other questions can we answer for you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, great. Okay. I'm sorry I was late to the meeting. So I have a question that our team has been is being allowed to have a team photo taken. And I've signed up for the food service, which I'm assuming starts before that, but the photo is at 9, I believe. Will I be able to do that and then scoot back?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we get that a lot every year. And I would say yes. Let your team lead know
Yes.
what kind of little, thing might be in your way for a few minutes. If you need to scoot out either to use the bathroom
Right.
or to go see your loved one coming in from the event, or in your case, to go to the photo wall, just let your team lead know and they'll work to fill in the gap for the small time that you're away. Not a problem at all.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Great question. Anything else?
I've got a
Danica,
couple-
did you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. You start.
Okay, a couple of things. When you guys were talking about the food and beverage tent, is that gonna be for the participants when we come back from our walk on Saturday?
Great question. Yes. So the food tents. So in the past, you've been able to purchase tickets to get in for spectators and all that. So that's different this year. The food tents and the food inside the food tents are for the participants only. It's part of their package as a participant when they registered. So
Okay.
spectators and volunteers, we'll have food trucks on site where you can purchase food. We'll have Portland Pie Company. They'll be offering breakfast and lunch options, as well as, PB&Me. Yes, they do like all sorts of fancy sandwiches, grilled sandwiches. And they're doing breakfast items as well. We'll also have a Wicked Maine Pops, which does gourmet fancy like ice cream pops, but made with all like amazing ingredients. So those will all be on site as well. And then like I said earlier, for the volunteers, we do have that volunteer area. We'll have snacks. We'll have granola bars, pretzels, chips, snacky type items, along with coffee and water.
I have one more question too.
Sure.
One thing I didn't hear you mention about, I'm guessing it probably isn't there. But is the massage and Reiki people gonna be there this year?
Yeah, good question. No, unfortunately, we've removed that as well. So some of the things that we've removed were Kid Zone, the massage, the Reiki, the Health and Wellness Expo, and any of the additional vendors. So that is not in the park this year. Good question.
Okay.
Unfortunately, hopefully, fingers crossed for next year. Fingers crossed for 2022.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I actually do have a question.
Sure.
My fiance is actually looking to help volunteer. He hasn't signed up for anything yet. When you mentioned the SAG driver, what day and time would work? He can do Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, fantastic.
So Sunday, he will be needed the entire day. And so if he's interested and feels like that is something he'd like to do, actually you can register for that on the website under the volunteer registration tab, and it should have the exact time frame. But I'm trying to remember what the exact times are. I think it's 6 a.m. to 5. It's a long day, but it is fun. And it is rewarding. It is a rewarding experience.
Yeah, because he does have background in medical service, being on a crew,
Oh,
and
that's
has
fantastic.
He would be
a
perfect.
driver's license also.
And also he'll have some opportunities to eat some of the snacks at the rest stops. And also, so we'll make sure he's taken care of, is my point. It is a long day. It is a big commitment. We recognize that, but we'll make sure to take care of him.
Okay, thank you very much.
I have it listed as 6 a.m. to 5. So they do
Yep.
their debrief meeting at 6 a.m. on Sunday. And it's until the last writer comes in, which we say 5 o'clock. I think it's typically 4:30-ish, 5, right around that area. So it is a full day.
All right, I will.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
that would be fantastic.
Of course.
Can you put out a blast on the Facebook page that we need SAG wagons, and then we can all share it and try to drum
Yeah,
up
great
support?
idea, Rod. Yep.
Danica, I don't see the agenda and I apologize. Did you want to review any protocols or anything? And if
That
you
is
do,
my
at
next
what
and
point?
last thing right now.
Oh,
My
okay.
next and last thing. Yeah, absolutely.
We're always
Right
doing
now.
this.
I
yeah.
know. It's my soul sister right there.
Yeah, so Danica asked if I could review some of our safety and security protocols for the event. And before I do, I just wanted to say on behalf of the medalist team, one of the reasons why we enjoy working the Dempsey Challenge so much is because of the cause, because of the mission, but also the volunteers here are so special. Like, I wish Bob was here, because Bob especially is just, he's very, very grateful for the commitment level and the kindness we see here in Maine. And it's not like this everywhere. And I travel all over the country to do this. And this is very, very important and special group of people. And I just wanted to say thank you again. And then now into the serious stuff. So just a few notes about the weekend. This really hasn't changed from year to year. So it is pretty straightforward. So the venue is closed on Friday night. So anybody who's working Friday night, it is a closed space. We will have security at all 4 entrances and exits. And so just have that peace of mind. With that being said, those who are working on Friday night, just keep your eyes out. If you see something that is that you feel needs to be alerted to, it is a see something, say something experience. So we will have police on site as well. But if you see someone with a radio, just radio us, just say, hey, this is what I'm seeing, and then we'll take care of it. So just so you know, Friday night closed event. And then Saturday and Sunday, it is open to the public. So it's the same idea. People can flow in and out, but if there is something that you feel is suspicious or shouldn't be there, just come grab somebody with a radio and we will take care of it. Also, it is a 911 event. So if something happens that is an emergency, the first thing you do is just like what you would do at home or anywhere else, you dial 911 first. After that step, also, if someone is near you or after that situation is being handled, please also grab someone with a radio and we will let command know. So in command, all EMS is monitored. Also, and Rod might have some additional. He's my surrogate, Chris Reed, at the moment. But in command, we have fire, we have EMS, we have multiple, we have police all monitoring our activities at the venue and our radios. So we do want to alert them if something is going on, but oftentimes once somebody calls 911, we already know about it in command. Now for I can't read what Rod says in that text. Just holding.
It's about the SAG drivers. It's okay, Mel. Keep going.
Oh, great. So 911 event, see something, say something. Radios, if anyone, I don't know if anybody in this group will have a radio, but just be mindful of any sort of conversation around that. Radios are not a protected frequency. Anyone can hear it. So just be mindful of what's said over the radio. You don't want to release anybody's name or anything like that. If there's a medical condition, just go ahead and call 911 and then we'll talk privately with Chris Reed over a cell phone. Volunteer check-in is our home of lost things. So any sort of lost and found, anything like that goes to volunteer check-in, including if we happen to have a lost child or a lost parent. A lot of things to do if that happens. If it's a lost child, you take them to the volunteer check-in and the info area, and you sit with them, make them feel comfortable, make sure they're not left alone. And then also, just try to see if you can find out the name of the parent. and we can always then look them up or make an announcement. So it's always important just to use volunteer check-in as our safe space, because it's always there's always someone there. What else did I have?
A quick-
If anything does happen, oh, go ahead, Rod.
So my cycling ambassador bib doesn't have the incident command number on it, but I'm told that the regular participant bib number has the incident command number. So if you come upon someone that needs help, if they have one of the, like a regular bib, the incident command number should be on there. So you can just call that and that'll reach Chris Reed and he'll be able to deploy whatever support is needed.
Correct. Thank you, Rod. One thing about incidents as well is what we're all talking about are channels to go through. One thing that we don't want to do is put anything out on social media or even privately. You have to remember that if something happens, it is a private matter, especially if it's medical. So so just be mindful of that. Again, we don't want to say any names over the radio. Bib numbers are great. A private call is one thing, but over the radio, we just want to be careful. And if something comes up, we don't want to have any comments over social media either. If something comes up, we have a crisis management plan and a crisis communications plan. So let the Dempsey Center team handle that piece and those communications, and let's let them do that. And it's the weather. We don't know what's going to happen, so just be prepared. Bring layers, as Danica said, bring sunscreen, bring bug spray. Just, I know Maine is prepared for all things, and just continue that and think of that for the challenge weekend. I don't think I missed anything. Any questions about safety or security? Or Rod, do you have any comments?
One brief comment. The SAG wagon typically will transport someone to the medical tent at the event center. Dr. Pete Sedgwick is awesome. He's been with us, I don't know how many years, I think ever since the beginning, actually.
So too.
2009. And he's just an amazing doctor, and he will triage. So if it's like hypothermia or dehydration or whatever the case may be, a lot of times the SAG wagon will just take the person to the medical tent at the event center or at a rest stop. They'll communicate with Dr. Sedgwick, and he'll make the medical decision what needs to happen.
Yeah, thank you, Rod. And the med tent will be open on Saturday and Sunday. It'll be open at 6:30 on Saturday and open at 6 a.m. on Sunday. So that is also something, even if you, something happens and you're volunteering and you have a minor injury of some sort, you can go visit the med tent yourself and they will take care of you. So, and your team. So that's a great point. Thank you, Rod.
Great. Thanks, Mel. That was great information. And yeah, so I think that about covers it. Any additional questions? Again, look in that volunteer guide that was sent out. If you need another copy of that, just you can always email us and we can send you another copy, but it is filled with information in there, things that we didn't cover today, different policies like no smoking in the park, and we love your furry friends, but you have to leave them at home, that sort of thing. So yeah, is there any additional questions before we sign off?
Danica?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question.
Sure.
It's probably a silly one, but anyway, with it being COVID.
Are you gonna ask about this guy right here? Is that what you're about to do? That's a great question. So here's what I will say. Patrick has never missed a Dempsey challenge, nor does he plan on missing this Dempsey challenge. So with that said, he will be around, just not the way you've normally seen him around. So
will we
we'll leave
be
it at
able,
that.
will we be able to get our picture taken with him this year?
I don't know that he'll be in a position at any point during the weekend to be able to have those pictures taken, but we do have a substitute. You can take pictures with this guy all day long.
That's a fake tag.
That is It is, but you know what? I've tested it. I've done a selfie with it. You can't tell.
Oh my God.
But yeah,
Nothing but-
unfortunately, we're just trying, you guys have all seen it. Patrick is a crowd creator. So, we just want to keep everybody as safe as possible. So we'll have a couple of these guys around the park for people to take selfies with. I'm telling you, if you get the right angle, nobody will know the difference.
Hey, even if we're masked up, we can't get a real picture with him.
I know. But he'll be there. He will be there. You can get a picture from a distance.
Oh, I want a real picture.
I know. You'll have to save it for 2022, I guess.
Oh,
Or
there
just
you
take
go.
one of these guys. That's a good question, though. It's a popular question. And it's not a stupid question because we've gotten asked that a lot. I know. Good question. Anything
Probably
else?
knew it when I said that.
Oh, I heard somebody.
Danica, can you hear me?
Oh, we can.
It's
but
Deb Moore.
Oh, I see you, Deb.
Hi. Could you go over a little bit? You too. I'll
Deb,
be attending Friday night. Could you go over?
Oh,
this is my
yeah.
first time for all of
Sure.
this. So could you just
Sure.
talk a little bit about what's going on Friday night?
Yes, thanks. I got it. Friday night. Yeah. So Mel had made mention about that earlier about Friday night being a private event. So some of you actually may have been invited. So it's called the Survivor Celebration Night, but it is a closed private event for people who have self-identified themselves as a cancer survivor. And so all it is it's an open time window between 5 and 7 when you can show up with your invitation through the check-in. And you'll just kind of walk our mission walk that will be available in the park all weekend. We're just kind of revealing it specifically for survivors on Friday night, which is why it's a private event. We're keeping it very, very, very small. But if you were an invitee, you just come anytime between 5 and 7 and you do the mission walk at your own pace at that time. There'll be a check-in on the side of behind the Hampton Inn. Good question.
And will there be any, because of that, any snacks, coffee?
Oh,
juice,
snacks or food for
water?
Friday? Did you hear, was it snacks and food for Friday? Is that what you heard?
maybe. Deb, could you use the chat just so we make sure that we're getting your question completely? It's the audio is a little funny on one. I'm not sure which end, but if you could use the chat feature to just type in your question, that might be easier so we don't miss any details.
I think she might have been asking about food and snacks. No, there's nothing. There will be water. We'll have water available, but it's there isn't any food or snacks available for the Friday night event. It's just come in and do that mission walk at your own pace. Just for folks coming with me, want to be prepared. Did I answer your question? I hope I did. If not, Deb, you can email us at info@Dempsey Challenge and we'll get you everything you need to know about that survivor event for you. So I think she looks like she might be frozen now.
And Danica, I don't know if you spoke about this when I was trying to log back in, but there are volunteer snacks available on Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
And so and coffee at the volunteer secret food tent. So yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. I think that's it. If you have any questions at all, like Karen said, up until Thursday, maybe Friday before noon, you can email info@dempseychallenge.org. As soon as Karen gets off duty and heads to the park, she'll put a reply in there that says, sorry, see me at the park. But up until then, you can email us at info@dempseychallenge.org and we'll get your questions answered. Otherwise, super excited to see you all on the weekend. Thank you so much for coming back and helping us support this event. Obviously, we could not do it without you. It's absolutely impossible to pull this off without you. So thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts. And we cannot wait to see you even through this on the weekend of. I will take that every day of the week just to be able to see you all. So thank you so much. And we'll see you this weekend.
I got a question. I have a question.
You got a question?
Yes. Who was it that's going to be doing the cleanup crew on Sunday night?
Oh, it's either Jen Lindquist is your team lead or Crystal. Either one of those will be your team lead.
All right, but I got an email from I can't say it.
Shelemaya, yeah. Yep.
Sure, yeah. Can never pronounce her name. And she had thought I had signed up for the venue setup, and I had signed up for the cleanup crew.
Oh, you know what? There may have been, if some of you got that email, there may have been a screw up on my end when I provided a list to some of our volunteers. So I'm sorry about that. We got it all straightened out now. But yeah, good question. That was my fault. I'll take that one.
So I asked to connect with one of those girls then on Sunday afternoon at 4:30.
Yeah, when you come in into the park and go into volunteer check-in, yeah, we'll send you to where you need to go. At that point too, it'll be you'll see the green team people going around on the golf carts.
I'm on for 2 shifts. I'm on the green team for the compost and stuff, and then merging right into the cleanup crew at 4:30 from 4:30.
Perfect. It's the same crew.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's great.
Cool.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
I think we all are. Yeah, it's a time to get excited. We weren't able to do this last year, so
No.
fantastic. Yeah, just so you all know too, if you haven't been watching, our fundraising is doing amazing. We're at over 1.1 million going into the weekend. Still so early. Our goal is 1.5. We're so close. Everybody's kind of pushing to the end, and we're doing it with virtually half the participants that we normally have. We're expecting about 1,000 participants on Saturday and about 500 participants on Sunday, which is a lot less than what it's essentially half. We usually have about 2,000 participants on Saturday and about 1,000 participants on Sunday, but our fundraising is just kicking butt. So we're really, really excited. It just means that everybody that's involved this year, from the volunteers to the participants, to family and friends, everybody's just on board and, fired up. So we're excited. We can't wait to see you all. Thank you so much.
Danica, at the merchandise tent, will they be taking debit and credit cards?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. No ATM on site this year. Just to note, but we have cashless options at everywhere where you need to purchase something. So if you do want to deal with cash, you'll have to stop at the ATM before. Otherwise, we have you covered with credit and debit in all of the areas where you can purchase something.
Awesome. Glad
Great.
to know that.
Okay. It's 7:31. We did it. All right. Very efficient.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Nicely done. We'll see everybody this weekend. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.